And now, Country Entertainment presents The Ginger Chronicles with Country and Deathicus.
Hey everybody, and welcome to the Ginger Chronicles. It's your boy Country. With me as always is Deathicus, and joining us on the show again, he is now the top 10 air guitar player in the nation, Mr. Hennessy Williams. What's up, brother?
What's up, man? What's up?
Doing great, man. Welcome back to the show. How you been?
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Not a problem. And the reason why Hennessy is here today is because today we're talking about sports.
Yes,
And
sir.
And exactly. And as most of you know, Deathicus unfortunately is not that big into sports.
I'm a
He's-
sheltered nerd. I play video games
Ain't
Hey,
nothing
if you
wrong
play
with
the
that.
game,
and not sports video games.
So
there's so many people who can play sports video games, though, who understand the game and understand the metrics. That could be good for the people that actually play the sport. I
Dude,
mean, we
this
see
way,
them all
like,
the time.
like I go into video games and I can calculate all different kinds of maths and stuff for like power level and all this. And one of my good buddies, Josh Pitts, plays every sports game that comes out, and he'll talk to me about dynasties and shit. Like, and I'm just, it's like someone speaking to me in hieroglyphics. I don't know what the fuck is going on.
speaking to you in a foreign language.
Yeah,
Well, today what we're going to talk about is pretty much the current situation in sports. The COVID impact on sports started all the way back in March when it started with the NCAA tournaments, the conference tournaments first, followed by the NCAA tournament. All got canceled. The NBA and the NHL all got shut down. And that's when the chaos ensued and the nation went into lockdown. Now, back in March, I was working downtown Nashville. I was also bartending at the Bridgestone Arena for the hockey team for the Preds. So when that happened, we had the SEC tournament that just got wiped out on the first day, and then, of course, hockey came to a standstill. So I felt that impact pretty well. And me and Deathicus over there, we both worked at the same bar on in Nashville, right next to the arena. So we both had to deal with the economic impact of losing those tournaments
Yeah.
as well as everywhere else in the nation that was hosting those events. And now the NHL and the NBA are both back. They're both in bubble cities. The NHL with two bubble locations in Canada, one in Edmonton, the other in Toronto. Edmonton has the Western Conference teams. Toronto has the Eastern Conference teams. The NBA has their bubble going on down in Orlando. And MLB pushed the start of their season all the way back to July, and no bubble situation for them. They're just not having any fans, choosing to put some cardboard fans, or for some teams who didn't even bother to go that route because they couldn't even get fans in the building in the first place. So MLB unfortunately has dealt with a lot of COVID issues because they're not in any kind of bubble situation. They're still traveling around. So we'll get to that in a little bit. Yeah, so the NHL is allowing 16 teams in each conference. The top four in each conference will compete in round robin for seeding. The remaining 5 through 12 competed in qualifiers to be into the playoff tournaments. Uh, Teams allowed to bring we're allowed to bring 31 players, as many as 52 people, including ownership, executives, coaches, and staff.
They have, they already have masks. They already have a
Okay,
helmet. They
right,
have a shield over their mask, a face mask.
right.
They have pads. It's 28 degrees. I think they're in a good situation, even
They
though I
they can
thought
still
maybe
get it in 28 degrees. There's people in a
well, that's
lab.
what I was wondering. Is it hot weather or cold weather that it's supposed
Well,
to?
no, cold weather makes it worse. Cold weather, like in the
Okay, yeah,
wintertime,
that's
is when
what
you really get sick. The hot weather is supposed to be where you get less sick, but people in Australia were still having it. So,
I don't know how that's
yeah.
true because down here in Florida we had the most in the country. I think we maybe even the world at one point. Most people,
I don't know.
like most people infected in a day.
Well, in our
Yeah,
country,
I doubt it.
definitely. I would say in our country, definitely. But the conference finals for the NHL will be played in Edmonton, and they released some information as far as what would happen if you became like asymptomatic. If you tested positive for asymptomatic, you'd be isolated in a hotel room and or a designated isolation area. And as long as you could pass 2 consecutive negative tests for the virus, then you would be allowed to go on with your business and play. If you did have symptoms or you tested positive for the virus, then you would be sent to an isolation area, and that's where you would spend time until the symptoms went away, and like the 14-day quarantine, I guess, period.
I imagine if they found one person on the team sick, they'd double check everybody else, if not quarantine the whole team, wouldn't they?
Everybody gets
they're
tested.
yeah.
Everybody gets tested every day. I think both the NHL and the NBA, everybody's getting tested. But yeah, if someone tested positive, I'm sure who they're bunking with, who they've been in contact with. For the NHL and the NBA, they're not allowed to bring, I don't think they're allowed to bring family with them. So they're bunking with somebody more likely in the hotel room, and whoever they're bunking with, I'm sure would be like extensively tested.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're getting tested every day. So even if you test positive, they already know if the other players and other people you're in contact with have it. But I thought Disney opened the bubble up a little bit more recently.
Disney did down in Orlando.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I
they
heard that
let
as well.
family members. I think you could bring a few family members, and there's people actually going to the same restaurants that the players are.
Huh.
I don't know if they're there concurrently with them, but I know that they are not just serving the players anymore. So
right,
that's still contact that you might have. But they haven't had one positive test in the NBA, not one, not in the bubble. So they've done very well.
They haven't had one positive test at all.
Not one in the bubble. I don't think they've had one positive test in the bubble.
But I'm gonna look at the NHL.
That's what I want to do too.
With these bubbles, is that just like a set number of stadiums certain teams can go to, or
no? The NHL, they only have 2 arenas: the one in Edmonton and the one in Toronto. Like I said, all Western Conference teams are in Edmonton. All Eastern Conference teams were in Toronto. I think then the conference finals are going to be both played in Edmonton. And the NBA is just, I think it's once, it's just in Orlando on Disney.
Right.
One area is for all those. But that's a lot though for all those NBA teams.
Yeah.
Yeah, they know their results within 10 to 15 minutes. Like they all have set times. They go get their test real quick, and they know right away in the NBA bubble.
Yeah, they've had 0 players test positive inside the Disney bubble for the 5th straight week.
They can get them tested within 15 minutes, but it takes an average person 2 weeks to get results back.
Hey,
that sounds
money,
about
baby.
fucking right.
Money.
Yeah.
That's hey, money rules the world. Can I say?
Yeah, you got to make sure everyone's entertained, right?
Hey, you got the money. I mean, they got the money. That's for sure.
It was very ambitious what they did, but they pulled it off. I mean, it was and it was something that the Players Association and the owners and the commissioner, they all worked together to make it happen instead of being combative like the Major League Baseball situation was.
Yeah, baseball is getting out of hand. I mean, they're having so many positive things. Everything's. I mean, I have a bad feeling the NFL is gonna be the same way. But back to the NBA, you said 0 positive tests in 5 weeks, and NHL also 0 positive tests in 4 weeks. So the bubbles are working. I mean, you look at baseball. Baseball, they're still traveling. No fans, but I mean, they're still traveling throughout the airports. So I mean, they're getting so many positive tests that some teams are having to shut down complete 3-game series, or for a whole week. Which are usually about 3-game series. NFL, you got to think NFL. I think did they up it to 17? Is that for this year? Or is that going to be taking effect next year, where they have 17 regular games?
Yeah, because they're not doing a preseason.
Right. So you got 17 games in the regular season. I mean, if you get it, and you got to sit out for 14 days, that's 2 games gone right there.
Yeah. I feel like the NFL players, like the major league players are going. Some of them are going to bars. They're like just being very cavalier. The NFL has a little bit more control over their players, I think, but I don't know. I mean,
NFL has control over their players. Come on, bro.
what I mean is like they're not guaranteed money. They don't have guaranteed money. So like if they leave the hotel to go whatever,
Yeah, but if they get
they come back
sick,
and they get cut, they're not getting paid.
they're not going to cut them all, though. And, I mean, if someone gets sick, they're still going to have to get paid. They're not going to cut them all because you're going to have a lot of big-name talents going to do it. And you can't cut the other ones if you can't cut them.
Yeah, the whole week.
They got to figure out a way. I mean, I think the NFL, I mean, it's going to be interesting to watch. And I'm hoping it works out because, I love football. So I'm glad hockey's working out. Glad basketball is working out.
That's going to be interesting watching it with no fans.
I think hockey and basketball, I think where they zoom in, like the fans, the digital fans.
Yeah, you're doing
that's pretty
the
cool.
Video. The WWE has it. They're calling it the Dome.
So what is that? I've heard something about the Dome, the Thunderdome. I haven't been paying attention to WWE. I tried watching WrestleMania, but watching pro wrestling without any fans, I mean, it was too boring for me. So what's been going on? What's this all about, the Dome, the Thunderdome?
The WWE was just having issues. They were at their performance center, and they were ripping their performance center up like every week, filming these things. And they were having wrestlers in the crowd, and the fans just were not responding to that. The NBA actually started it with having people on video in the crowd. So it was live, you're watching it like we are doing, and they'd be live. And then the WWE was like, that's a perfect idea. Now, when you watch it on the WWE, if you get selected to be in the Dome, so like the whole arena is full with video monitors. If you get selected to be on that, they cue you what to do. So like there's actually a producer that you're looking at that says, all right, now cheer, boo, or whatever, or do whatever now. So you are actively a part of the show. And you can see them. Yeah, it's crazy. You can see them. The wrestlers could walk up to a video and do whatever, and you're looking at the wrestler from at home. So it's actually pretty cool. It makes the arena look more full too, because they're having some issues with it though, because there's been a couple, like Mario popped up in the background, Chris Benoit popped up. There was a guy in a KKK hoodie.
I see that says WWE Thunderdome sees trolls broadcast KKK beheading images on live TV. Yep. Wow.
So they're like trying to find that guy so they can ban him for life. But I'm like, whatever. Yeah, it's a good idea though. It looks good though. It looks good. Yeah. But
that's the bad thing with anything like that. Like you're always gonna have trolls on the internet.
Exactly.
To them, it's funny and amusing to fuck with people like that. So it's.
Let's go ahead and turn Call of Duty on for about 10 minutes. And hear the words they say. Fortnite, it don't matter.
Oh, God. Can't get a Fortnite team on there. Jesus Christ.
Oh, man. It's terrible. So it's only a matter of time before it gets to the Dome. In the NBA, they're like using celebrities more. I like they'll pop up like Paul Pierce is on there a lot. Matthew McConaughey.
Yeah, I'm seeing right here where you can actually sign up. Go to www.thunderdome.com. You can sign up. Get your virtual seat.
I tried to do it, but I guess I was late. I wanted to do it for SummerSlam.
I wonder how much they're charging people for that.
I don't know. I thought it was free. I didn't look like I had.
Nah, there's no way they do it for free. I mean, they're gonna try to make us sound like they're lost money.
That's the man we're talking about.
I figured they'd probably at least charge you the price of a standard pay-per-view or some shit like that.
Oh yeah,
you pay the $9.99 for the.
Well, yeah, they got the network. The network's $9.99.
I don't
Actually,
know.
I think it's $14.99 now.
Is it really? I quit using it.
Yeah, it'll be $21.99 in a couple
I
of
never
years.
used it, so
I liked it at first because I just like going back and reliving. Like the late '90s was my favorite part, and the whole NWO, the whole Degeneration
Oh,
X.
right.
I mean, the whole attitude, Stone Cold Steve Austin. That was the best part, the best time for it. So that's one thing I liked about the network. I'd go back and I'd watch it, but I mean, I've just seen probably almost everything on there that I've wanted to see, and none of the new pay-per-views. I mean, no fans. I was like, no, thank you. So
yeah,
was just,
a lot of that old shit you can find on YouTube anyway.
oh
so.
yeah,
Right.
find anything on YouTube, even us. Subscribe.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, by the
Hit
way,
the like button.
Nice little
Smash
placement.
the like button. Like.
yeah, like. Hit that like button, y'all. Don't
Like
forget to
it.
subscribe.
Like it a lot.
I never really say anything about it, but yeah, don't forget to hit that subscribe button, comment, let us know how we're doing. I'm the worst.
Oh,
At, like I get told, everybody's been telling me that you need to tell them to subscribe, and I was like,
Yep.
the worst.
They're trying to
marketing.
get that. You got to get it. What's funny about wrestling is the main thing with knowing a lot of wrestlers and talking to them, wrestling's for kids, man. It really is, because after you've watched it enough times, the stories start to repeat themselves, and it doesn't have that same luster it has when you're a 5-6-year-old looking at the people wrestling. It just is what it is.
But I mean, look at what you still believed when you were 5 or 6 years old: Santa Claus, the Easter Bunny, the Tooth Fairy. I mean, of course you're gonna believe wrestling. Is
right.
Like they really hate each other. I don't want to say real, because what they really get in there and do takes some talent, and they put their bodies on the line. They always have. But I mean, everybody knows it's scripted, and of course, little kids are gonna believe that someone like Hulk Hogan could really pick up someone like Andre the Giant without assistance. Come on now, really?
Shit.
I mean,
But when you're 7 years old, you're like,
right? You
"No,
believe in
he's
that
not."
shit. Yeah, you can believe in it.
What?
Yeah. Oh my God. One of the worst wrestlers ever, like as far as like talent and in-ring ability, was the Ultimate Warrior. And I remember thinking, I was like real little. I remember thinking he was, oh, look at that. Oh, so cool. He ran down and like, but if you look back now, all he really did was run down to the ring, pick somebody up over his head, slam him to the mat, jump on top of him, pin him, and then run back out like a damn
You got to get hyped up.
a crackhead going to get the next rock. So, I mean, when you're a little kid, you believe all kinds of shit, but wrestling's always been for little, except for the late 90s. The late 90s, it was more adult oriented, definitely into the early 2000s. But then, John Cena and the whole cartoon aspect came back again. So, but that's
Yep, and that's why they need their fans, because Hulk Hogan without fans is nothing.
No.
You're not watching them wrestle.
definitely one of the biggest draws in history. I say
Right.
Austin in the late 90s, because he took that company public, was probably the best, drew the most money in history. I'd have to look it up, but I believe Austin probably took that mark. Hogan definitely second.
I'm still partial to Mankind myself. I loved watching his fights back in the day.
Yeah. I'm kind of the man.
and then the UFC came about. And speaking of the UFC, I mean, hell, Fight Island's going on right now. Dana White just said, screw it. He got tired of
Fight
getting
Island?
kicked. So Fight Island is actually in Yas Island in Abu Dhabi, the man-made island on which the UFC has previously held events. And because pretty much, I mean, every event was getting canceled, and they weren't even allowed to host the even without fans. That's why they're going to Abu Dhabi. Fight Island, ain't nobody gonna tell them shit there. That's where they've been hosting fights. Of course, they need fans in attendance. That's still another event that needs fans. But it started on July the 11th. It was the first event in Abu Dhabi.
I like that word. It's just fun to say.
Abu Dhabi.
Yeah.
I thought Hobby Lobby.
Hobby Lobby. What? No, that's
Hobby
a store.
Lobby.
I'm talking about Abu Dhabi. I thought Hobby Lobby.
Welcome to
Get
Fight
your
Hobby
arts and
Lobby.
crafts
We
on.
fight every day
Lobby
but Sunday.
Lobby. We like to fight.
Oh my God.
Granted, Hobby Lobby would be a good wrestling ring because they'd have so many objects to hit each other with. Fucking busting a clay pot on somebody's head. I mean,
Yeah, have the match in Hobby Lobby.
Hobby Lobby. Or you'd like take some. What you should do
Hobby
is like
Lobby.
take like some ornaments or whatever you get from there and just not body slam somebody onto it.
ooh, a bunch of Christmas bells.
Choke them with some yarn. Take a
Jingle all
roll
the
of
way,
yarn.
motherfucker.
I mean, I go, but like I did it. I actually trained.
Who's
I
playing
trained
music?
for it about a year and a half.
Oh, in wrestling?
Yeah, and it just
Oh, did
got
you
way
really?
too expensive. It got way too expensive.
Like,
And
Like
my back
injuries
broke.
or
yeah, what was the
What was that?
expensive parts about? Like, what was the most expensive part about? Like, so you got to tell. Like, so we're gonna dive into this subject. So, how far did you get as far as in your training for wrestling?
All right, so I mean, I got to basically winning a championship in training class and being a security guard for regular shows. So I mean, the first 6 months, I mean, you're learning how to take bumps. You're
Right.
learning how to.
Some people longer than that, from what I've heard.
It's
6 months is a relatively short time. Very
yeah.
short.
The first thing that always got me was when we put the ring together, and I always
Right.
thought there was like springs or like padding. Nah, that's a board, yeah. That's like plywood.
Oh yeah. But underneath the ring, isn't it one big spring, like a huge gigantic spring underneath all that board though?
Yes, there's nothing. It's just wood.
There's nothing underneath it.
No. So you
like
put the little mat on top. So all right, so
right, you got the mat,
basically
you
you
got the
just
board.
lay out board 2 layers of boards. So like one sideways. I'm not very technical, like, but I'm trying to make it. So one goes parallel or like sideways, and then you go on top of that. It's just wood. And then you put a little apron or a mat on top of that, pull it, and there you go. There's your mat.
Hmm.
So like you're lucky if it's like sometimes the wood has some give,
Right.
but then you don't want it to do that because it'll break.
Well, like what I'm getting at is like underneath the mat, like isn't there like this big spring or something that's like on the floor or whatever that
No,
or there's just nothing underneath the mat at all?
no. It's
Oh,
just 4 poles,
that might be
tighten the
some
rope.
shit I saw back in the day.
Yeah, it's painful, bro. It's like
Oh, I
really you
imagine
should
it
just
is.
go outside.
Especially if you land wrong. If you land wrong, you can paralyze
Exactly.
yourself.
oh yeah.
And that's what they're teaching you like the first 6 months, because at first you just fall on your back, fall on your
Right.
back. And then it's all right, let's run. We're gonna add one thing to it. Let's fall on your back with one leg. Okay. You do that for like 3 days, a week. Come back. Now you don't even train that much normally. It's usually 2 or 3 times a week.
Right.
You don't train every day. And then it's like, all right, let's do a front flip. Okay. And then you just keep adding to it. But everything comes from landing on your back so you don't break your neck. And once you learn how to do it, though, you'll always fall that way. Like I've fallen from slipping on ice, and I still fall like a wrestler. Like I always will curl up. But yeah, that's just a lot. My mic skills actually was able to propel me a little further. I was athletic, but I was afraid to do a moonsault. And like, whether you see people do it or not, almost every wrestler can do like a moonsault or a backflip off the top, like or off the rope. Most of them can do it. It's
Yeah,
part of your
I
training.
snapped my neck midair.
Right. I was too scared. I can't do a backflip, man. No way. I can't do a backflip.
I used to be able to do it on a trampoline.
Well, there you go. Like if you can do it on a trampoline, you can do it off the top rope onto
Yeah,
plywood.
that doesn't mean I
Onto
love it, though.
Yeah,
See,
that's
the
why
last part you added kind of took away from it.
and that's if you have a nice ring. Like, most of these rinky-dink rings, man, woo, you know, you, some of them are bad. The WWE obviously had some of the nicest ring, and even theirs isn't that nice. Plywood. I hated it. But it's fun. If I could do it all over again, I would be a manager. But you still have to take bumps and everything. You still got to go through the training. You might as well be a wrestler if you're a manager. And like I had surgery on my back. When I had cancer, that was it. It's like I'm not landing on my back anymore. No more. So that was it for wrestling. But it's fun.
That's what's important right there. Like you had fun with it.
Yeah.
And learned a new skill.
Yeah, I
Learn how
mean,
to fall flat on your back.
what name would you go by? I went by, I'm going to say it the proper way. Negrito Perfecto. Negrito
Yeah, that I can
Need
kinda
that
see
animated. I want like some kind of like star or something. Kind of like
I can kind of see why it
the
didn't
more you
work
know.
out.
Negrito Perfecto. Yeah, I wear a mask.
Oh my god, I can kind of see why it didn't work out.
I was too perfect though to show
Too
my
perfect.
face, so I wear the mask.
Gotta hide the perfection.
the perfect, and everything was just the perfect. Even though that already been done before, I was in training, so the perfect suplex, the perfect this. You still had to work on a character.
Well, let me ask you. All right, so let's get off the wrestling subject for just a little bit. Let's get back to NFL. Now, right now they're looks like they're gonna do exactly like baseball, where they play in their own home stadiums, except for some teams may be allowing fans and some may not. Now, I've got a list right here of what each team is going to be doing. First, let me go through this list and talk about what each team is going to be doing, and then let's give our predictions of what we think is going to happen with this season. All right. So the Atlanta Falcons has said they're going to keep within the state and local requirements. Capacity at home games will be between 10 to 20,000 people. Currently, they're not going to have any fans in the home games through September, and we'll make a decision for later in October, November, and December later. So right now, it looks like the first, 3 games in September, 4 maybe, no fans. So that's a quarter of your season right there. The Ravens have said that they will play the initial part of 2020 season without fans, so you can pretty much look at them the same way. Buffalo Bills have said that for the first 2 games they're not allowing fans. They'll make a decision on the other games after that. The Chicago Bears, fuck the Bears. They said they will start the season without fans in the stands, despite efforts to have a safe plan. So another team, the Bengals, said there will not be fans at their opener. They haven't made any comments on the rest. The Packers, the first 2 games are going to be without fans. So they're going to join in with every other team I've mentioned, first 2 games without fans. The Texans, apparently in a FAQ on their team site, said due to social distancing guidelines, the capacity at NRG Stadium will be 14,000 seats. Wow.
Okay.
Throughout all levels.
Wow.
But they did announce that there will be no fans in attendance in the opener. So once again, we have yet to come across a team that has decided they're going to be, having fans from the get-go, from the opener. None of them so far. They said whether fans can return will depend on how the cases are in Houston, so still no guarantee. The Colts, the next one's on the list of the Colts, they said they were planning on no more than 25% capacity at Lucas Oil. They're offering 2 half-season plans of 4 games each for fans looking to buy tickets. So the Colts may be our first team on this list that might allow fans. They didn't say either way. They pretty much gave their capacity estimates. They didn't say whether or not they're going to have fans, so I'm putting them in the maybe category because they did not say yes or no for fans in opening day. The Jaguars said they plan on doing the same thing, 25% capacity at home games. In addition, they said that after the season begins, any future increase in capacity will depend on developments on the health and safety front. So it looks like the Jags, just like the Colts, not really a yes or no. So they could possibly have fans on the opening day. The Chiefs, the defending Super Bowl champions, have come out and said they'll have their attendance capped at 22%. All fans attending games will be required to wear masks, and teams added that while fans are being asked to bring their own mask to use upon entering the complex, the Chiefs will provide a commemorative mask to all fans who attend these games, first 3 games. So the Chiefs, actually that last comment, who attend the first 3 games. So it looks like the Chiefs for the first 3 games are going to start off at 22% capacity. So they'll definitely have fans in the stands. So get you some Chiefs tickets if you can. The Raiders were one of the first teams to announce there would be no fans for their home games this season. That just sucks, man, because I remember being when I was in Vegas last year, seeing the stadium. It was nowhere near completion, but looked amazing then. I've seen pictures of it now, and they will not have any fans in any game of their inaugural season. That just sucks.
They're the Las Vegas Raiders now, right?
Yeah, they're officially the Vegas Raiders. The stadium's complete. So this was the inaugural year of that stadium, and it's gonna be played with no fans. I would have postponed it. I'd postpone it till next year. I mean, why wouldn't? I mean, you're not gonna have fans in the stadium, so you're not pulling in the revenue anyway. You know, find some little rinky-dinky ass field or a stadium to play in. Don't waste that stadium. Looks badass. Don't waste that the inaugural year without having any fans until that just sucks. I'm not a Raiders fan, but damn, I have sympathy for their fans. That sucks.
Wasn't Vegas one of the first places to reopen and then
shut back down again?
That whole thing?
Yep.
That might have something to do with why they don't have no fans.
Oh, easily.
Yeah.
Oh, easily.
She blew it.
Yeah, they opened back up the strip, and I think they had to shut it back down again. The Chargers.
Much what happened with us.
Yeah, Nashville same way. Los Angeles Chargers, in a joint statement, the Chargers and Rams announced fans would not be allowed to attend games until further notice. So the Chargers and Rams both, I think, take care of both them 2 teams since they both share a stadium, and one should still be in San Diego, but that's beside the point. Both of them, no fans allowed. The Dolphins, they have announced they will have a maximum of 13,000 fans for the home opener. Hell yeah, I like that. Come on out.
That's Florida. That's Florida, baby.
They don't give a fuck. Florida don't care.
Florida ain't bullshit. I'm surprised it's not like 75%.
Dude, I'm surprised they're not saying screw it. Hey, come at your own risk. Sign this waiver and feel the It's fucking Miami. They don't give a shit. I'm surprised it's only 13,000 fans, honestly.
They're going to be out there just, woo, dancing.
You know what? We're going to make the stadium 110% capacity.
Yeah,
well, you know what's funny? Stadiums aren't big enough.
Have a watch party next door.
And bring in lawn chairs.
Calder Casino have a watch party.
Jesus.
It says all fans. Check this out. All fans will be required to wear a mask. You guys sit there wearing – man, I tell you what. The way the Dolphins are playing, they're starting to become like the next Detroit Lions. You know, hell, they can go ahead and put a bag over their face. I mean, team playing so shitty. They got to wear a mask for every game. Hell, Detroit knows all about that. Just put a whole bag over your face, you're good to go. They will have a staggered entry into the stadium, and the entry time on the game ticket will be released from the stadium by row. So they're going to stagger the entry, so you'll have your entry time on your ticket. I like that. So they're going to have
that's fine. That works.
That's actually smart. I'm surprised. Miami coming in the clutch with something smart. They're going to have their 13,000 fans there. I wonder if that 13,000 is for Dan Marino, number 13, maybe. It was unlucky for him, that number. It'd be unlucky for them, too.
You know what? Just real quick, since we talked about the Dolphins. When I was at work today, So I delivered a package, and the guy, I was like, "What's your name?" Because we don't have people sign things, and he goes, "Irving Fryer." So I'm leaving, and I'm like,
It didn't register with you,
"Irving
did
Fryer, like the football player, like."
it?
He didn't look like Irvin Fryer, you know what I'm saying? Like, at all. So, I don't know. That's just funny you brought that up because it was messing with me for like about 30 minutes. I was like, did this dude make up a name just to be stupid?
Well, Sammy
Or is
Sosa
his
doesn't look
name
like
really
Sammy Sosa anymore either. So, I mean.
yeah,
Well,
Irvin Fryer?
let's move on. Next team on the list is those purple people eater Minnesota Vikings. They announced there would be no fans for the first 2 home games. In the announcement, the team said it will continue to work with the appropriate officials on their plans with the hope of bringing fans back in a safer manner this season. So the Vikings coming out and joining the list saying no fans first 2 games. The Patriots, the next team on the list, said in mid-July they're expecting to have 20% capacity at Gillette Stadium, though state and local approvals will be required before any fans are permitted getting inside the building. So they're expecting, still not a solid answer. We'll see how that goes. With them being in a colder climate, yeah.
Well, I think they had the most players opt out of this season.
Yeah, they did, didn't they? Yeah, so it looks like more than 40 players have opted out. Speaking of opting out, 40 of them have opted out of the league wide, and 8 of them on the Patriots. So 8 out of 40. You know, you only got 32
Cam Newton
teams.
about to have a whole new bag.
Well, I mean, before you see something, when they picked up Newton, I was like, damn, the Patriots, put Newton, if he'll listen to Belichick, Newton could light him
Could be
up.
fine.
Yeah, but I mean, you got 8 players opting out. We'll see.
Belichick could come to Osceola High School and find 2 players to step up. That's Bill Belichick we're talking about.
Dude, Belichick can put in anybody and still win the ring. The Patriots are my pick to go deep in the AFC until they get put out. All right, so next team, New Orleans Saints. The Saints announced their home opener at the Superdome will be played without fans in attendance. That game is a key divisional matchup because it's Tom Brady's first game with the Bucks. That's right.
First and last.
Opening night. Brady's first game with the Buccaneers is against the Saints, against Drew Brees, in the Superdome in New Orleans, and no fans in attendance. That just sucks, man. So yeah, they
under 8 games for Tom Brady.
Say what?
Over under 8 games for Tom Brady. That he plays over 8 games.
Oh, over. Brady plays the whole season.
You don't think it's gonna? Man, I'm worried about him.
Nah, Brady's only missed 1 year with the injury. Brady's playing the whole season.
And he's like 85 now.
Don't get hit.
He's close. All right, next up is the New York Giants and the New York Jets, and both of these teams, since they play together, just like the Rams and the Chargers, they got to pretty much do the same thing. So due to Governor Phil Murphy's order in July, the Giants and Jets announced there will be no fans at the stadium until further notice. So that's another that'll probably stay empty majority of the year. Unless the Dolphins thing goes off without a hitch, it might change for a lot of teams. We'll see how that goes. Next team, San Francisco 49ers. There will be no fans in attendance for the 49ers' first game at Levi on September the 13th. The team said it would work with local officials in an effort to host fans later in the season. So they're joining the list of no fans for the first game. Next team is Seattle Seahawks. The Seahawks, who have one of the best home field advantages in the NFL, made the difficult decision to rule out having fans for at least the team's first 3 home games. So the Seahawks are saying that for the first 3 games and no fans, that means the first possible game that might host some fans is November the 1st against the 49ers, which is definitely going to be a good divisional game.
Of course they want fans for that.
Oh, yeah. Hell yeah. You already know. And next up, the Washington football team. Start all the jokes about how Washington might not notice an empty stadium due to many fans abandoning their struggling franchise. the team said there would be no fans at FedEx. They went ahead and jumped the gun on that one. They said, our fans are leaving us any damn way, so we might as well just opt out now.
That's my new favorite team.
The Washington football team?
I just want to say it. Hail to the Washington football team.
Oh, my God. See, they don't even have the same.
It sounds good.
It's no.
Is that actually their name? Like, they don't have like a name like,
Well, it was the Redskins, but,
Oh, that's right.
They've been actually.
We're not allowed to say that no more.
Well, I mean, it is a derogatory word.
Washington football team.
I mean, I wouldn't want them coming out saying we're the Washington Gingers. I might root for them, actually. I don't know.
The most soulless team in the universe.
Yeah, the soulless ones.
I think they're gonna go with the Red Tails though. That's what had been the rumor. The Washington Red Tails.
It's almost as bad as the Land Sharks.
Was what they called the Tuskegee Airmen, the first black pilot in the Army or whatever, the Tuskegee Airmen. So that's where the Red Tails came from. But I don't know if that's true. But from what I've seen, I'm from Washington Post and all that, that's what they're leaning towards. Yeah. That'd be cool. Then they don't have to change a lot of the color scheme and everything.
No.
Just keep it the same. Cause I grew up in that area. They've always talked about it. It's always been, every year it was a topic. And instead they changed the Bullets to the Wizards. They didn't even change the Redskins. They're like, we're just gonna change the Washington Bullets then to the Washington Wizards. Let me see when they did that. When they changed that? 1998? Washington Wizards.
And also, the Tennessee Titans have came in and said they are also going to have no fans at their home opener.
I mean, Nashville's having a hard go of it.
Yeah, they are.
Right now. They really are. Are the bars even open in Nashville yet?
Tootsie's, Honky Tonk, and Kid Rock. All three got their restaurant license now.
Okay.
So they were able to open up, but really? No. Yeah, but here's the thing.
That's awesome.
Unless they've changed it in these past 3 days, I think each bar, aside from us, was only able to have 25 people per establishment.
Okay.
And now, Derek, Kid Rock. That's a fucking 3-4 story building.
Yeah.
25 people in the whole building.
How many?
Not on each floor.
25 people in the whole building.
The whole building.
Yeah, they're not gonna follow that shit.
Did Nashville have a spike and
hell yeah.
They do.
Well,
because they opened up pretty much all of Broadway, and then everyone's walking around with no masks and shit.
Well, here's the thing about Nashville. Okay, first off, not just Nashville, but mainly Nashville, but also Tennessee in general. Shut down late. Tried to be one of the first ones to reopen. When they reopened, they had only tested 3% of the freaking state. So, of course, when you reopen after only testing 3%, every 3 people out of 100, that's pretty much, of course, cases are going to spike. What do you expect to happen? So,
especially being a major tourist town. I mean,
yeah.
A lot of people, they try to use the arguments like, oh, well, it's not really Nashville that has so many cases, people coming in. It's like, that doesn't make it better. Technically, that's even worse because that means the shit's spreading other places.
Exactly.
Right.
Yep.
I love Nashville, bro. The exit in, the 5 spot, that's my spot right there.
Oh, yeah, exit in's awesome.
Woo!
Exit in's my shit.
That's great. When they had the tornado there, I was like, please don't have gotten the 5 spot. And it was very close to that area, wasn't it? I think.
I don't know what the 5 spot is.
Ever since what was his name? What was the dude's name on Yancey Thickpen, who was 1 yard away from the Super Bowl championship.
Oh, that was Kevin Dyson.
Kevin Dyson, right?
Yeah.
Ever since then, they've had
well, and all that would have happened would it would have tied the game and it went to overtime. But yeah, he came within 1 yard of tying it right at the end. He just couldn't stretch out far enough, man. It was a clean tackle. I mean, it was a good yard, maybe a yard and a half.
Yeah, man. I was cheering for him, man. I love Air McNair. That was my guy. You know, one of the original.
Steve McNair.
Yeah, one of the original African American quarterback. Yeah. Eddie George.
Dude,
Boy,
Eddie.
squad,
I've met Eddie George a number of times. That dude is huge, man.
Yeah, he doesn't get justice on TV.
Nah,
what are you like 6'4"? 6'5"?
Well, actually, if you go back and look at any of his games, he's always the biggest dude out there. So I mean, you can kind of tell on TV. I used to love seeing him and Ray Lewis go at it. That was pretty awesome.
Eddie George, that's my boy, number 27, boy. What?
So yeah, it looks like it looks like the Panthers, though, they haven't decided on an official capacity for opening day, so they haven't ruled out anything. So yeah, so only a few teams actually gonna, like the Dolphins, I think probably got the best plan in motion, or at least they've already came out with an actual plan. The Chiefs said, you know, they're gonna have some fans, but I think the Dolphins probably so far are the best ones on that list as far as can we operate with fans or no fans. So a lot of the teams choosing not to go at least for the first game, some 2 games, a few all season. So Mark, you're up first. What do you think as far as what do you think about the season? Any prediction on how the football season is going to go for the NFL?
Great.
No. All right, let me rephrase that. All right. So after hearing, all right, so let's do that over. All right. So after hearing everything that, you know, some of these teams are putting forth as far as the efforts, what's your prediction on the season? Do you think the season goes as planned? Do you think cases spike and games start getting shut down? What's your prediction on the NFL season?
I mean, it really just going to depends on if people like follow the code, if the teams and all them, they follow what they're actually going to do. Like if they're going to be staggering the tickets, if every team does that, or staggering, you know, people coming in and then leave by rows, then probably be pretty well, especially if they like separate, because you're going to have to put some like a line of chairs in between, like empty chairs in between each person or each group. Right. Something like that, stagger them out throughout the bleachers. What are they called?
Yeah, well, yeah, the seating chart. That's one thing I was hearing was that like a lot of the packages were going to be that way, like a group of 6 or something like that, groups of 4, groups of 2, like separated. You know, you're not going to be next to somebody you don't know. That's why they're only going to have like 13 to 14,000 people. And I mean, same thing for college too. Some colleges aren't going to be playing at all. The SEC, they're going to be playing, and they're going to be reducing capacity. So we'll see how that goes for them as well. So Hennessy, what do you think, man? What do you think about the NFL? Do you think it's going to last? Or do you think the season's going to fall apart?
I mean, they'll finish the season because, I mean, most of them were 3 games, and then they'll reevaluate, or 1 month. If schools are starting, as long as nobody dies, and even if they do die, I don't think they're going to care that much as far as whether they continue to do things. Like, I feel like they're just going to keep on trucking along and trying to make this work. Best case scenario, they'll finish the season, because if you look at the NBA, and even with baseball a little bit now, as they've started to play and get a little bit more competitive, it looked like the players started to actually care more and they're going to want to finish the season, because if they don't, it was all for nothing. All of it. The quarantine was for nothing. all this 3 games and little capacity, it was all for nothing. They'll finish it. And by the end of the season, I bet you the Super Bowl, that's going to be the hard one. That's going to be the hard one where they're like, do we pack out the Super Bowl?
Nah, they're not
Or
gonna be
do
able to pack out the
we?
Super Bowl.
Right. But the regular season games, I don't think they care so much about. But they're leaving that up to the team. But once they get to like the playoffs and the Super Bowl, how much money they make from that each year? Come on, that's crazy.
Here's what I think is going to happen for the NFL season. It's going to depend on a few things. You mentioned deaths. They don't really judge it by deaths. They judge it by rising cases. So that's one thing they're going to look at is the first 2 to 3 weeks. Actually, I say the first 3 weeks are going to be paramount in the NFL season because it takes up to 14 days to start showing symptoms. Even though they're going to be getting tested every day, the cases could rise. So it all depends on how the Dolphins do, how these other teams do that are allowing fans, whether or not they do allow fans in the stadium. And it also depends on how much the cases rise. If a lot of players start getting sick, that's the biggest concern for the NFL is because if a lot of players get sick, if you get a positive test, you have to get 2 consecutive negative tests in order to be considered a false positive and get to play. If you are positive for the virus, that's 14 days you could be out. That's 2 games out of a 17-game season, not to mention, all your teammates getting rigorously tested and how many of those could have been affected. So it all depends on how fast these cases rise, if they do rise in the NFL. If it's like baseball, man, the NFL season will probably get shut down if it comes out like baseball. That's probably the biggest concern. So I don't until there's a vaccine, I don't think that we will have an NFL season where fans are in attendance. I think they'll figure out some way, hopefully, to have a season. But I don't see fans being in attendance that much. I got a feeling these first couple games, the cases will rise, especially in Miami, especially in Florida. So I don't see fans in attendance this season. I do hope the season actually goes off, but like some colleges, I mean, they're not having a season. The Big Ten is not having. I think the Pac-12 is not having. SEC is going to try to have it. It all depends on if cases get out of hand or not, whether or not these seasons happen. I think if cases rise in the NFL, like they have in basketball, or not basketball, but baseball, then the season will get shut down. The NBA and NHL, in my opinion, have the best thing going with the whole bubble situation. They're able to keep it better under control. Players aren't allowed to really go traveling all across the country. That's why their case is 4 or 5 weeks. Meanwhile, you got baseball every day. Somebody's testing positive. Football more than likely will happen the same way. So I don't know what to wait and see what happens, but hopefully the football season happens. But I don't see fans being in attendance at these games. I think one or 2 weeks and that's it, and then they'll shut that down too.
Speaking like the fans not being in attendance, what do you think they're going to do about the people that have already bought their season tickets and everything like that? Do you think they might return those?
I know some of them were getting refunded. I know like the Packers, they were you had the option to get that put off till next year, or you because like how they were doing it is if they were allowing fans, like so many fans, season ticket holders had the first dibs on tickets. They had the option to either opt in or opt out now before any kind of announcement is made. So if you opted out as a season ticket holder, the money you've already spent can either be applied to next year or you can get a refund. So it all depends on what they want to do. I think a lot of teams are doing that route too, to where they were giving refunds or just putting it towards next year's season tickets.
Can I ask you a question? Do you think whoever wins, like the presidential race, will have any impact on any of these leagues? Provided, Joe Biden's already said that if he needs to shut the country down again, he'll do it. as opposed to Donald Trump, who pretty much said the exact opposite. So, I mean, do you think that will have any impact on any of these leagues after November 4th?
I don't know. Um,
It's crazy.
well, because a lot of them came out from the beginning, and like starting with the colleges and with the NCAA, and then the NBA and the NHL, they took matters into their own hands and shut everything down. They didn't wait on the government to do it for them. Um, Trump? No, Trump won't shut anything down. Um, Biden might. I'm still on the fence on that, but he might shut it down. If he did shut it down, which I don't even think he probably could, he would actually have to call in he'd have to declare martial law to do it. And I don't know. So I don't know. We'll wait and see. I don't know if Joe Biden will actually back up to what he says, or if he even win to begin with. We'll see on that. That's pretty much all I'm gonna say on that topic, though.
Man,
What do you
could
think,
see
Mark?
Trump, yeah, like, we're going to sign I don't know if he can do it, but just sign an executive order, like, there will be ACC basketball.
No, he can't do that.
This is the only thing that gets to
Well
pass.
played.
No, I mean he can declare martial law and send in the military to enforce it. He can't sit there and say ACC basketball and football got to play. No.
Well, you're fired.
All right.
I can do an impression. You're fired.
He'll try to fire the president of the NCAA, and the president, I don't work for you.
Who are you again?
I hope it does do well, man. We need it. I mean, I'm not saying we need it, but I mean, I love sports. I went long enough without it.
I mean, yeah, me too. I mean, I've enjoyed watching the NHL, the NBA a little bit, but still without fans and attendance. I mean, like for crying out loud, the other night when Luka made that 3 to win the game in overtime, I mean, they had to pipe in the fan noise for that. Imagine if it would have been in an actual arena, especially if it had been in Dallas. That place would have blown – the roof would have blown off that place. I mean, that's one of the things sucks is big plays like that. There's no fans in attendance. That reaction is not there. I mean, that's lackluster for me, right? So, I'm excited about football, but then again, no, like just the
Football's
fan
gonna be
excitement.
weird too.
Yeah, it's all looking weird. I mean, all of it without fans is looking really weird. I've watched the NHL anyway, just because I like hockey. I've watched a little bit of the NBA. That's still hard to watch without fans. I do like some of the stuff they're doing inside these arenas, try to incorporate digital fans as much as possible, but it's still not the same as having real fans there.
Mm.
So football is going to be weird if it happens. Baseball looks like,
I don't know how real it is, but I saw a picture of – I can't remember the team, but it was a baseball team, and they had all the cardboard cutouts. One of the cardboard cutouts was Stan's dad from South Park.
They've had him. They've had Bernie from Weekend at Bernie. He's been sitting there.
Oh, God.
I saw that one. I saw the Weekend at Bernie ones.
What I actually predict the NFL, the defenses will be better because they'll be able to hear the audibles.
Oh,
a
yeah.
lot better.
You won't be able to drown. Well, that and also on the offense side, say that ones playing on the road won't have to worry about getting drowned out by the opposing fans. They can still – but then again, like I said, the defense can hear them audibles too.
Everybody's talking about the NBA, and like if you watch the NBA, they're scoring more points than they've scored in like 20, 22 years, something like that, something crazy. And you can literally tell since there's no fans around the court and no cameraman underneath the basket, they're running faster.
Hey, that's what we need to do. That's what we should do is pick a few games, especially like football games or whatever, and we can live commentate them while we watch it live.
Okay.
I'll be down for that.
I guess
Definitely like a Monday nighter. I know the Monday night games, Sunday night games are probably the easiest ones for me.
We should just let Mike be the lead.
No, God.
You just leave that.
Mm.
A nice
Look,
shuffle pass. Be like, yeah, that's what it's called. Get caught. Get caught. Shuffle pass.
look, I jump on my words on the shit I do know. Okay. I do wonder how hard it is for like some of the players, like without the fans and like I guess the hype, how hard it is for them to kind of get their head in the game, or if
Right.
without all that they actually can focus better.
Without all that momentum, especially like the momentum of the game mixed in with the fan reaction, really pumping that adrenaline in you.
Mhm.
I mean, that's going to be probably. I mean, it's going to be interesting to watch. It's going to be
I feel like
real
practice.
weird.
Yeah.
Like basketball, like football really needs it. Basketball, like, you know, they all play pickup without fans and stuff. You know what I mean? Like, it's not the same kind of atmosphere.
Well, also in
Like
basketball,
football,
and when you're in an arena like basketball and hockey, it's easy to pump in crowd noise. I mean, like they've been doing
right.
anyway. Football
Yeah.
stadiums, unless you're in Seattle, you know, it's kind of hard to pump in that crowd noise. Seattle's done it pretty well there, so.
You gotta score a touchdown, be like,
Yeah. Golf claps just
I'd rock it to sleep. I'd rock the bar to sleep.
Oh my God.
Like a baby. We'll always remember 2020. Like, I don't think there's no reason to put an asterisk by these sports because all we need to see is 2020. We'll know exactly what happened.
Oh no, I'm still calling every championship a COVID championship, especially the NHL, the NBA. Oh yeah, oh
the
yeah.
COVID
it's
Cup.
The NBA
COVID
is
Cup,
doing
baby.
the NBA is doing better than they would have done without the bubble. The NBA is doing amazing. They played all their games. They're playing the whole playoffs. Now baseball, yes, asterisk for sure. Like baseball probably shouldn't even have had a season with how late they started.
True.
But it is
I
what
mean,
it is.
they knocked off what, like 100 games off their schedule.
Jesus.
That's way too many damn games, man. I mean, it's way too many games.
How many do they normally have in the season?
168, ain't it? I think.
Yeah,
Yeah.
60 to 68, something like that.
Yeah, they dropped it down to what, 80, I think? Yeah, 80 games.
I'm sorry, I'm yelling at my son. Close the door and shut it.
All right, so hell, anything else y'all want to talk about regarding COVID's impact on sports?
Think they've implemented any punishments for players that break quarantine or break the bubble and like try to get out the hotel and go do shit? Or
Remember when Lou Williams left the bubble to go to the strip club? Did the NBA ever do anything to him? Did he ever get in trouble?
Yeah, he didn't really get in trouble.
He didn't.
Nah, because the story was he went to be with a friend or something for a funeral. And then apparently when you go to funerals in Atlanta, you hit them strip clubs up and you get some food. Magic City, as they call it.
Yeah, no.
The NBA. What's funny is Patrick Ewing got in trouble for that same club like 20-some years ago.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
It's a curse.
That's an NBA ballage club. Magic
Oh
City,
my God.
ATL, son. But he said he would. I'm pretty sure he said he would go in there to eat dinner. Like, I swear.
Hey,
And they're essential workers.
pause it for a minute. I'll be right back.
No.
I want to look up that Lou Williams. Because I thought he should have been suspended, like, for the rest of the season for being like, come on, man.
Yeah, I mean they should have done something to it. I mean, I don't
Right.
want to be punished or nothing, but it's like
If I was on his team, I'd be like, for real, you trying to jeopardize the whole league?
right, like
over
that's
that?
not just you in danger like that. So you could spread shit to your teammates and then them spread it to their family and just like
It said Lou Williams wings. Yeah, Lou Williams, Magic City wings are apparently totally worth it. He went to the strip club to get some wings. Got it. Okay.
man, how do y'all what do y'all fry these wings in? Oh, the same grease we lube up these poles. It is universal.
I mean, I know some strip clubs that have, buffet, but you never eat it. There's no way.
I've never been to a strip
But they
club.
have food now. They can be open. Yeah, he went there to get wings. Yeah, yep. See, on the Cleveland Indians in baseball, I know some players went out, and the whole Indian team basically had like a mutiny on those players. They were like, "We're not playing with them anymore."
Really?
Yeah, they got them sent down like to the minors or something. But yeah, Lou Williams wanted some chicken wings, so he went to Magic City.
It must be some good ass fucking chicken wings.
Could have gone to fucking B-Dubs or Wingstop.
You ain't going to no B-Dubs getting no chicken wings. No.
Could you imagine listening to Watt and eating some chicken wings at the same time?
Sounds like a nightmare.
Heaven.
I guess there's just two kinds of people in this world.
That is heaven.
Oh my God.
That's magic.
COVID magic.
Jesus.
Chicken wings.
All right, guys. Well, I think that's going to be it for today's episode. Did a good job, I think, covering all the major sports. Only one we didn't really cover that much was college. Unfortunately, majority of the conferences have already said they're not going to be playing. I think the SEC right now is the only one that's definitely for sure going to be playing, just with either reduced fans or no fans. So we'll see how that goes as far as college football. NFL, I think the same way. We'll see how that goes depending on how the cases rise. So, fellas, I think we're going to put a bow on this episode and wrap it up. Mark, you got anything you want to add to the show?
Follow and like the podcast.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Like it, subscribe it, share it, tell your friends. Hit that subscribe button right now.
Most important,
your friends about me.
Most importantly, watch it.
Watch it. Tell you whether you're watching it on YouTube, listening to it on Spotify, Apple Podcast, Google Podcast, wherever you're listening to your favorite podcast. You can listen to us. You can watch us, follow us, subscribe, and like, and share, and tell your friends and family about the Ginger Chronicles. And fellas, for Hennessy Williams, my good buddy Dethicus, I'm your boy Big Country. You guys have a good one, little gingerlings, and we will see y'all later.